Cleaning business owners, welcome back. I'm Rick from Clean Launch, and on this video I'm going to talk about the journey that I went through in growing a 7-figure cleaning business and how I went from a cleaner to a business owner and all the lessons that I learned throughout the way, the mindset shift that I had to go through from thinking like an employee to a business owner. And if you stay until the end, I promise you're gonna learn so much about this business and a lot of lessons of becoming an entrepreneur, because I see so many people who have a 9-to-5 mindset or a contractor mindset. And if you truly want to earn like a business owner, you have to change your perspective. You have to have a business mindset in order to succeed. And all the mistakes that I had to make, learn from me so you can learn from other people's mistakes. And I want to begin with how I got started in this industry. So I was born in South America and I came to Canada when I was 10 years old without knowing any English or anything like that. And I was basically living basement to basement with a single mother because my father passed away when I was a little kid. So I always grew up pretty poor. I saw all my classmates living in nice houses, having new clothes, and I was here moving basement to basement, and I never had the luxury of dressing the best because I was always wearing like the same clothes, and I never really looked my best because I was always wearing like baggy clothes with no style or anything like that. I always felt like I was missing something. I saw my classmates going to trips, living in big houses, and I simply felt poor. I felt broke. So I had a burning desire to make something for myself. I wanted more in life, and that was my mindset growing up. I always wanted more. I was sick and tired of being poor. I saw my classmates have very good lives, their parents buying them brand new cars, living in big new houses. So I always had that burning desire to succeed. And that is the first thing you need, a burning desire to succeed. And growing up as a poor immigrant, that was one of the best gifts a man can receive, because it gives you that burning desire. And you may be asking, how did I get into the cleaning industry? So when I was in high school, my mom was a cleaner. So I would always help her with cleaning offices, doing student move out units. And around grade 11, we got a job cleaning offices. So every day, Monday to Friday, I would go to high school during the day, and at night I would go clean offices. And eventually she stopped working and I took over the contracts, and basically I got pretty efficient at cleaning. So I was basically doing a 2-cleaner job as myself, making a full-time income while still in high school, and everything was perfect. I really enjoyed the consistency that commercial contracts provided, but I was simply an employee. And then after high school, I had to travel to another country to visit my family, and when I came back, the person I was working for didn't want to rehire me, and basically the guy fired me. And I was paying for a specific workers insurance, and they were offering me to pay for my college. So I decided to go to college. And one of the lessons looking back, working for another cleaning business owner, is that I realized that a lot of these owners, they're very OCD. They're always on their workers' ears, checking up on them every other day, micromanaging employees, obsessing over contracts, and basically they had a business that was running them. The business was not working for them. And when I saw that, I knew that there had to be a better way. I didn't understand why these owners were stressing over and they were not even making $25,000 a month. I didn't understand why these owners were constantly stressing, losing sleep, obsessing over contracts, and they were not even making $30,000 a month in revenue. Until I got a subcontracting job in college, and I don't recommend college. It's a waste of time. I went there because everyone around me told me, if you want to be successful, you have to go to college. You have to waste 4 years to maybe get a job, and maybe one day when you're 50 years old, then you can retire. And back then, when you don't know any better, you think that going to school is the route to success. But I didn't want to be like everyone else. I wanted more in life. And this is what changed my entire mindset, is that when I was cleaning, so in the morning I would go to class, and after I would clean offices, as a subcontractor. It was a lot better because I was getting paid by piecework, a fixed amount every single month. But the thing that changed everything, my whole perspective in life, business, philosophy, absolutely everything changed when I started listening to books. See, when I was cleaning, I wasn't just listening to music and cleaning. No, I had my wireless headphones and I was listening to books every single night. And I was learning from multimillionaires who retired, very successful individuals. And if you think about it, if there's a very smart person, they grew multiple companies, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then you put 40, 50 years of experience, and then they write a little book about all the lessons they learned, all the wisdom and all of that experience into a book, and you're able to consume that information in just a few days. So you can see how powerful that could be. And until then, before that, I was just like everyone else. I was going to school, I had construction jobs. My first job was working outside, pumping gas for people at a gas station. I had many construction jobs where I was basically being yelled at, working at 7 a.m., lifting heavy stuff outside in the sun. And I was tired of doing that physical labor, being a general laborer in construction, working at a gas station, pumping gas for people in the cold winters, doing student move-outs, residential move-outs, working as a concrete laborer, and then doing concrete for big skyscrapers. And everyone around that life tells you, oh, you have to go to school so you can get an office job and you can be successful. And that is the trap that I fell through. And that is the mindset that 99% of people have out there. They don't realize that you can create a business, systemize it, so you have a machine that works for you. That is the number one subject I learned from the book. It was called The Millionaire Fast Lane and unscripted by MJ DeMarco. It taught me that you don't need to be famous. You don't need to be a professional athlete. You don't have to be born into wealth. And if you take the route that everyone else takes, go to school, get a job, climb the corporate ladder, sell 40 hours of your time for the next 50 years, getting 2 weeks off a year, trading time for money, getting a house, a mortgage, so then you're forced to stay there. That is the scripted life. That life will keep you on a treadmill and milk you for the next 50 years. That is not freedom. Sure, you can maybe afford a little townhouse, a new car, but in exchange for what? Going to work, relying on one income source, listening to a boss, trading time for money for 2 weeks off a year. That was not the life I wanted to live. And reading books woke me up. It taught me that I don't have to work for money if I had a system working for me. And when I was in class, I was studying for BA supply chain, which is business supply chain. And I remember my professor saying, oh yeah, you guys have to wake up early because if you guys want to become operational managers, you have to be the first one there. And I'm like, being in a factory at 6 a.m. Monday to Friday, waking up at 5 in the morning for the next 40, 50 years. That wasn't the life I wanted to live. And during that time, I was a subcontractor and I saw my boss. He was only using subcontractors and he was getting new commercial contracts literally on a weekly basis. Every month he was getting new contracts. And I remember doing a little walkthrough with him, with the client after he got the contract. And I was just walking with him while the client was showing us the contract and the scope of work. And he wasn't doing much. He was just an old guy walking around, just being quiet in the back. And he was paying me about $1,700 for that contract per month, and he was getting paid about $3,000 for that contract. And I realized, I'm like, this guy is barely doing anything and he's keeping almost half of this contract every month without lifting a finger. But I was happy, I was getting paid good money. But then I realized this guy is barely doing anything. He's making almost half the money of this contract and I'm here sweating, getting dirty every night. Even a few times I texted him saying, there's no toilet paper, what should I do? He just said, figure it out. And there was nothing wrong with that. But then I realized this guy is making so much money. And then all the other companies that I worked for in the past were literally stressing so much. And they were barely making $30,000 a month in revenue. And this guy was closer to $200,000 a month and he was barely working. And I realized this is a pretty good system, And remember what I said, guys. You need a system that works for you. You need a business that gets monthly cash flow every month, and then you systemize it. You put employees, you put systems, you put SOPs, softwares, so you're able to get the service done without you having to trade your time. Obviously, in the beginning, you have to be very hands-on, but you slowly start to systemize the business. That way, you have an asset, you have a machine that works for you, and that's gonna allow you to skate so you can gain your financial and time freedom. And that was kind of like my aha moment, where the things I was learning in school were pretty useless. And I was 2 credits away from graduating, and I decided it's not for me. I don't care about this anymore. But I got distracted. I let my ego get the best of me. I'm like, I don't want to do cleaning. I want to do something like Amazon FBA, Shopify, drop shipping. So that's what I did for 8 months. I was a subcontractor to pay the bills while I was working on the side trying to grow my e-commerce brand, my Amazon FBA. But I completely failed. I wasted tens of thousands of dollars, and I was basically going red until my boss from the subcontracting, there was basically a complaint saying that the paper towels were not changed, and I did change it, but someone used all of it, so they complained. They obviously blamed the cleaner, and he took all the contracts from me just with a simple text. And then I had no cash flow, I had no income, so my back was against the wall. I was spending thousands of dollars into ads trying to do my e-commerce stuff, and I had to stop doing that. I had to go back to my bread and butter, and I took my marketing experience that I learned through e-commerce and I put it into my cleaning business. And this is something that a lot of people have to go through. You have to go through pain. You have to go through something traumatic. A lot of us, we're very comfortable until something happens and we are forced to take action. I was basically running out of money, and I was even doing student move-outs, some post-construction jobs. I was posting online just to get a little cash flow going. But that was also the time I was taking my cleaning business serious. I asked myself, how can I be a credible business? How can I stop being a contractor and actually be a business, a cleaning business? How can I get paid like a business? So that's when I started building a little credibility so I can appear like a trustworthy, established company. I was building my website, I was building my brochure, I was building my proposals. I asked myself, how can I be very similar to the boss that I was working for? How can I appear like a company like him? So that's when I realized I needed 2 things. One was credibility. When someone came across my business, I would appear like a trustworthy, established company. And number 2 was marketing. So I started running Facebook ads, targeting business owners around my city, and I was running Google ads. So I was investing into advertising, and that's how I got my first walkthrough. And this is a big lesson that a lot of people need to learn. A lot of people expect people to knock on your door just because you exist. It doesn't work like that. You have to do marketing or sales in order to get your business out there. You cannot grow a business by penny pinching. This is a horrible advice I see so many real estate gurus preach, saying that, oh, if you save your $2 into a little coffee, that will turn into $1 million in 50 years from now using the stock market. Nonsense. You will lose opportunity if you're not using your capital strategically. If I would have been a cheap person, I would have never bought a website subscription, or I would have never spent money on Facebook ads or Google ads. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have grown a business. And you need to change your mindset to simply making more money. If something is expensive, but you know that it's gonna grow your business, do not be cheap with it. Simply make more money. This is the mindset you gotta have in business. You cannot move mountains by penny pinching. The most successful business owners are the ones that take the risk, take that leap of faith. They put $1 in because they know they're gonna get $4 back. That is the mindset you gotta have in business. You gotta take those calculated risks if you wanna make it. And let's talk about my first contract. So when I did the walkthrough, I was walking around, I had a little suit on. It was a small contract, just once a week, 2 hours per visit. It was about $550 per month, and I didn't know how to close contracts. I didn't know how it worked. We simply walked around. I made the client happy. I went over some points about the business, and then I sat down with them. I literally had like a 2-page proposal, and I just like gave it to him, and he signed it on the spot, and he gave me the key. And I'm very grateful that that happened, because that gave me the momentum to double down on this business. I was so happy. I'm like, I got this contract and I'm basically getting paid about $55 per hour to clean this place. And usually it works a little different. Usually you have to send the email with the proposal afterwards, but with this account I got lucky and I closed it on the spot, and they gave me the key on the spot, and basically I got started right away. And I remember that day I was just so happy. I'm like, damn, like we did it. Even though I was broke, and that was my first contract. And I'm like a quiet person, very shy. I'm very concerned with my actions, and I'm like, woohoo, we like when I was like driving back home, I'm like, damn, like we did it. And that is a really good feeling. You know, when you get your first contract and it's confirmed, like you have the key, you have that confirmation email. It is the best feeling ever. And that was another lesson. I didn't know what I was doing. I simply gave him the contract and he signed it right away. And that is one big lesson I want you to learn, is that you don't have to let the unknown, stop you from taking action. It's like swimming for the first time. If you never jump into the water, you will never know what it's like to swim. If you never traveled before, you don't know what other countries are like. So do not allow fear of the unknown to stop you from taking that leap of faith. Simply analyze what is the best for you and take that calculated risk. And that applies to everything in life. If you never buy that plane ticket, you never know what that country is like and what life is like outside of your hometown. If you never approach that person, you will never know what it's like to date someone. If you never start that business, you will never know if that business made you into a multimillionaire. Take a leap of faith on those calculated risks that are gonna level you up in life. Listen to your subconscious mind and do what's best for you. Do not allow fear to stop you from achieving what you want. During this time, there was a lot of trial and error that went into growing the business. I did a lot of walkthroughs afterwards, and I didn't win those contracts because I was not pricing correctly. I was not going over the winning points in the walkthrough. And you need to remember, guys, the first time you do something, you will never be the best at it. So you learn through trial and error. You do something, it didn't work. You modify it, maybe it works now. And that was the walkthroughs. Some of these walkthroughs I didn't win because I wasn't pricing correctly. I wasn't going over security practices. I wasn't mentioning eco-friendly products. There was some walkthroughs where I forgot to take my notepad, and just like that, the client felt like they were not important because I wasn't taking notes. Little things like that stopped me from getting more contracts. And this is the point where a lot of people give up. I've seen this happen so many times where some people do walkthroughs, but they cannot close the contracts. And that really discourages them. And if this is happening to you, you need to understand that there's 4 steps into improving your closing rate, your credibility, how you look during the walkthrough, the things you say, the questions you ask. Why would someone pick you when they're interviewing other cleaning companies who have been doing this for 10 years? What makes you stand out? So basically the things you say in the walkthrough. And then the submission, the proposal you're submitting to them, the winning factors that go into the proposal, floor plan, the scope of work, the insurance certificate, the references, the brochure, the workers' comp certificate. That is the things you submit to the client. And lastly is your follow-up sequence, making sure you're following up with them consistently and professionally, making sure that you are the top option for them to hire. And this is the part where I see so many people give up, is when they're doing walkthroughs but they're not closing. And I was able to pass this point because I was doing multiple walkthroughs every week. So even if 4 people were saying no, I had 1 person say yes out of 4 people at that point. So I dealt with a lot of disappointment, but all it takes is 1 cleaning contract and you would be extremely happy with that because it's recurring revenue. I kept a lot of these contracts for so many years. And that is the beauty about this business model. Even if you don't get a contract your first month, that's okay because this is a long-term business. Another part I want to go over is that my first 5 contracts, I cleaned them myself and I reinvested back all the profits back into marketing. And this is why I was getting multiple walkthroughs every week. It's because most people are broke. They're just too broke to put any money into marketing or sales. They have these flashy expenses, paying $3,000 a month on a house rent, eating out every week, getting a lease on a brand new car when they don't really need it, or excessive shopping. I didn't do none of that. I was living with my mom to save money on rent. I was driving around with an old car, and I was taking all the profits back and putting it back into marketing. I didn't even hire people my first 5 contracts because I wanted to clean them myself to make more money so I can put it back into marketing. And on my first year, I didn't take any money back. I simply put it back into sales and marketing. And that's exactly how I grew and became the fastest growing cleaning business in my city. And this is another reason why I see so many cleaning businesses growing at the same level every year. It's because they don't put any capital into marketing or sales. They're too cheap to grow. They have that contractor mindset, thinking, oh, I'll just do everything. I'll just keep all the profit, without understanding that the only way for the business to grow is with time or money. And this is another lesson. Back then in 2017, there were not many people helping cleaning business owners grow, in commercial specifically. So I had to do a lot of these things through trial and error. And I could have tripled the business by now if I would have done this strategically with a mentor from the start. And that is something I want to offer you guys, is that you don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to guess everything. You don't have to spend years trying to make it work with trial and error, when you can do this the right way and strategically right off the bat. You don't have to re-engineer other businesses when I can show you exactly what's working. So if that's you and you're interested in joining my mentorship program, get all the SOPs, the marketing systems, the scripts, the closing process, the credibility that will help you stand out from everyone else, all the secrets to grow a 7-figure commercial cleaning business as fast as possible. It is the best route you can take. So if you're serious about this, there's going to be a link on the description. I highly encourage you to take that leap of faith. It will not be cheap, but if you want to join the shortcut, you have to be willing to invest into your business. It is the best investment you can make. First, you have to invest into a mentor so you know what to do next. And then you put money into marketing and sales to get more leads. You have to quadruple your earnings, and then you can become an investor afterwards. Once you're making $50,000, $60,000 a month, that's when you can start diversifying into real estate and other stuff. But first, you have to quadruple your earning capacity, your cash flow, your income, your profits. That is what you have to focus on first. You cannot penny pinch yourself to the top. You need massive cash flow. And during my peak growth, I was adding about $6,000 to $7,000 a month in recurring contracts every month. But I decided to stop doing the operations so I can fully focus into cleaning launch. And this is where I am today. I helped over 200 cleaning business owners grow their commercial cleaning business. I have so many clients making over $100,000 a month. And right now I'm in the point where I feel like I don't have skin in the game. I feel like I don't have a business when I help so many people grow to 7 figures. And this is what led me to start a franchise model today. Instead of conquering my city, I now want to conquer other cities in other states, and I have now transitioned into a franchise model where I'm a growth partner and I have someone else handle the operations in different cities. And that is something that I'm currently working on right now, because after helping hundreds of people grow their commercial cleaning business, I felt like I wasn't part of their business. And I'm still doing that mentorship offer, and I highly encourage you to take that, because I don't take any profits, I don't take any equity, but I'm now slowly switching over to the partnership model. And this is what I'm building now. Instead of conquering my city, I can conquer other cities in different states. And this is what I'm currently working on as of 2024, is slowly transitioning into the franchise model where I can have people so they can take over that city. But that has nothing to do with my mentorship program. But I just want you guys to understand the value of joining my mentorship program, because you get someone who's doing this, work by your side, grab your hand through the process so you can grow as fast as possible without giving any equity, without sharing the profits, But guys, that should be everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and again, subscribe, like this video, comment below what kind of videos you guys want to see. And again, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.